Hey, David Seaborg, evolutionary biologist, president of the World Rainforest Fund. I wanted to tell you about this time my theory, further elaboration on my theory called the Pachamama hypothesis, and also that's for the general public. The name for scientists, to make it more official sounding, is the autocatalytic biodiversity hypothesis, and it states that ecosystems maximize biodiversity, that life built the planet to make it very friendly to life, building high oxygen, controlling greenhouse gas levels and the temperature, controlling the salt content of the sea, building the soil, and so on, and that all species in a natural condition, not including humans, make their environment better for life and work to increase biodiversity, not intentionally. It's just their actions, like a yellow-bellied sapsucker, a type of woodpecker, drills a hole in a tree to get the sap, then leaves, more sap comes out, and ants and bees and beetles then eat the sap and benefit from it. That's one example of the idea, and it wouldn't even be an original idea if I said some species do it. We already know that. It's original and radical because I say all species do it if it's natural. So that includes bacteria, fungi, and viruses, because they do things like control populations so things don't get too many and then overexploit their environment. For example, a virus might control a deer population and keep it from overexploiting its environment, getting too many of them. So the part that is interesting in this, well, there are many parts that are interesting, but one part is that symbiosis, where two species help each other, is much more common and important than scientists recognize. So you can get a situation where, for example, a beetle eats the pollen of a wind pollinated flower. The flower needs to be pollinated. The pollen has to be transferred from one flower to another to produce a seed and reproduce. That's how plants reproduce. So originally, pollination was done through the wind. But then at one point, it was a beetle, the first pollinator, was eating the pollen of a flower. But the flower evolved to attract the beetle more because when it ate it, it didn't hurt it that much. It helped it more than it hurt it because it transferred the pollen from one flower to another. And this is more efficient than wind pollination and allowed the flower to reproduce. So slowly the beetle evolved to be better at pollinating it, getting the pollen. The flower evolved nectar to attract the beetle. It did not have petals yet. It evolved from leaves, petals. It evolved a full flower to be pollinated by animals, first beetles. So that was coevolution between the beetle and the flower. Coevolution is when two species evolve affecting each other by a thing called positive feedback. Okay, so now you got beetles pollinating flowers and you got your first flowers. Then you get tremendous diversification because you have this great new way of pollinating. So flowers diversify into many species. First one flower, then many. And so beetles diversified, the pollinating beetles did, and adapted to many different flowers. You got many species of beetles. Then came other insects, butterflies, that pollinated flowers and benefited from their nectar. The pollinator gets a nice meal of nectar and perhaps pollen. The pollinated, the flower, gets to reproduce. So it produces flowers with nice scents and nectar guides to guide the pollinator to the nectar to attract pollinators to get pollinated. So now you get many more flowers diversifying along with coevolution with the butterflies. And then come the bees, wasps, some pollinator ants, flies and mosquitoes are pollinators. They come in, and then birds, monkeys, many pollinators. Tremendous diversification into many species of flowers and pollinators of many types, from insects to birds to primates, all through coevolution and symbiosis. Now, this is just one example. I'll give you more later to show you that this is a rule. It didn't just happen just with pollination. But also, after this happens, with these many flowers and many new insects, many new birds, other species evolve that benefit from the insects. New species of birds that eat the insects. Other species evolve that benefit from the plants that speciated and diversified into many new kinds of plants with many new flowers. So other species then evolve to take advantage of all these new species of flowers, of plants, and their pollinators. Okay, we'll pick up on this next time. Thank you for your attention.